I like this Chainsaw Man, like every week right now is just absolute aggression. Like every single chapter since Denji went into this form has just been like real brutal, and it's been hype. Like it's been super hype right now, and generally I'm really liking it. Even like this chapter, there was very little dialogue. Like there was very little that went on between the characters' interactions. It was just badass freaking massive action, and it done in such a cool way, and really just again further hyping the danger that is the Chainsaw Man. And I'm wondering how they're gonna get out of this, because it's clear they're not gonna beat him. I don't think they can beat him in a regular sense. I think they have to do something in order to halt his actions entirely, because I don't think they're just going to be like, oh yeah, we overpowered him. No, absolutely not after this chapter. Like, it begins, you have the flamethrower hybrid come in. Again, I like his design. I think this character's design is actually kind of underrated a little bit. Like, it's not as fancy. It's like I don't think it's as fancy as like Reze's, but I do think it's really cool just in general, like the sick flamethrower arms. I imagine it'd be kind of annoying though for this character to kind of do anything other than just, you know, be a big flamethrower, because like how do you grab onto people? Can their arms like shift into hands or something? But you know, just massive fiery explosion. I don't imagine that would be too much on Denji, considering like the normal form for Denji was able to light himself on fire and fight. So I don't really see how this is going to do a whole lot towards the Chainsaw Man. And granted, obviously this is a much more higher level of power than like what Denji did when he was fighting you know, the doll devil boosted person, you know, Santa Claus. But it clearly it didn't look like it was going to do anything, and it clearly didn't do anything. Like, it didn't do any damage to him. I really like the design of this like weird nail hybrid, like with these tusks, but it's like this character doesn't like have anything compared to like anybody else. Like the other guys have way more going on. I mean, granted, we haven't seen a whole lot. Like, it just goes up and slashes at Denji's back and does nothing, but you'd think that this character would have something additional, like maybe it slashes and the nails break off and then they continuously grow and like puncture their opponent, something like that. But like maybe we'll see in the future like more from this character, because I do really like the design of this one. This one's really cool. Out of the new ones, I think I said already that this is my favorite out of the new four. I think that it just looks really cool, like the way that the mouth is set up, the cool horns like going off the sides, and then just like the weird creepy claws of like these uncut extended nails look badass. But then Reze coming in, showing that she's again the best one out of these seven, grabs Denji, explodes constantly, this stream of explosions driving him right up into the air to where he's able to set up, or she's able to set up right after she gets pretty much slashed. But like, you have the spear guy go and throw this massive spear like right from the ground into Denji's chest. This guy's really cool too. I think this dude would be a lot cooler if we could see like just a more extended out fight, because this guy's range, and then obviously these spears in general, like a really nice like support sniper. That guy's definitely badass. Like, I would say he's second maybe out of these new ones for me. Like, probably the last one. It's between the sword and the flamethrower one for the last one. The sword one's cool, but like we already had the katana devil. I like the sword one's facial design with like the two swords going over the eyes. I think that's cool, but for the most part, it's not as cool as this badass like long range javelin throwing guy. But while in the air, you have Makima just constantly, you know, finger gun up, shoot multiple times until Denji was like out in orbit. He's just floating around like way above Japan, and they brought up that like he still has to breathe. I like that though. I like that it shows that there are general weaknesses to Denji's abilities, because it's not like the devils are full immortal. Like, they can heal, like they have general things they need, like breathing, food, but the thing they obviously require most, it's like this universal towards all of essentially their whole body, is blood. So you cut off like his resources to all those, you can beat him. Makes sense for Makima. Again, put him into space. I've said that towards like the idea of a lot of villains. It's like, oh, they're immortal, just shoot them into space. Figure out a way to shoot him into space. I had that like long thing against like Ruby, and it's just like, this character so far she hasn't seemed like, Salem doesn't seem like too OP, but if her whole thing is that she is immortal, shoot her into space. You guys have the technology to do it. Shoot the bitch into space. But Denji, again, like the chainsaw is smart. Rips his heart out. Like, again, rips his heart right out of his chest and throws it back into to the planet. And it's cool to see him reform, get in there, and then, like frickin' Spider-Man, use his chains to just long range lash and wrap around people, and then just pull him towards him. And like that pose when he has them like up in the air and they're all just wrapped up in his chains, like, that's what I thought of. I just thought of Spider-Man, and then just goes through him, rushes through him, similar to like when he, like, I like the pose because it's similar to like when he beat the Bat Devil. I thought that was badass. I really like callbacks like that, because you see, we had a similar thing of like when Denji first got his power and you see him like going against all those zombies, and then when he went into this form, like when he was in hell and just kind of like running through all these devils at once, it shows like the level of gap between what Denji was then and what he's at now. Obviously this isn't a power he can control, but this is something that it's set up to see like what he's capable of and what he will be eventually, which is so cool. And it won't surprise me if this is like the target for his next eventual kind of increase, and there'll probably be something beyond this, like when he's fighting the primordial devils, like when we see stuff like the Darkness Devil and other primordial fear based devils like later on in the series. I wonder how many there are. Like, if we're ever gonna get like a set number, like 7 or 10 or like 14, 6, I don't know. Either way, again, things are just getting crazier and crazier every chapter. And this one, like, I've read this one multiple times through, because I read this chapter when the Raws came out, I read it when the fan translation came out, and then I read it like 2 to 3 times already with the officials, because it's not a dialogue heavy chapter. It's supposed to be just showing you the action, showing the scene, and just displaying the sheer level of domination that the Chainsaw Man has over these characters. And it's really cool that, like, when you think about like him grabbing them with his chains, it's not just like he's not just kind of like Spider-Man, he's just constantly sending out webs. It's like each one is a different one of his chainsaw arms. They're all chained up and pulled towards a different one, and at the same time just goes through all of them. Like, Denji is a powerhouse right now. He is a monster. And seeing what he's capable of, seeing what he's going to be doing later on in the series when he reaches like this level, is going to be super badass. Granted, none of these characters are going to stay dead from the damage currently. Like, obviously we know Makima can't die. Makima, as long as there are people in Japan and her contract with the Prime Minister exists, she's not going to die. The other people are hybrids, so they are immortal. As long as they can get blood, they're going to heal. They're going to be fine. The only thing we can kind of guess is like how you could potentially kill them is if, I'm guessing whatever their core is, kind of like Denji's heart, it's like you would probably need to destroy wherever their powers stem from to take out one of these hybrids. So as long as they can get blood, they're going to get back up. And as long as Makima has her contract with the Prime Minister, she's going to get back up. The question right now is the Chainsaw Man going to eat one of them? Because we know like his ability can, like the way that you kill a devil the way that you actually fully eradicate a devil is by eating them as the Chainsaw Man. He erases their name, erases the memory of whatever their fear is based off of. And I don't know if he's gonna do any of that from these guys. I mean, he could probably take out the sword or the katana devil, because I mean, they're similar in design, but they're different. Obviously, one is katanas, you know, one is just general, like, kind of like double-edged swords. It makes sense that you're gonna have variants of different devils. Like, there's probably one that's kind of like a scimitar. There's probably one that's more like, you know, knives. It just makes sense when you have, it'd be like having like a spider devil and then a scorpion devil. Like, they're of a similar origin. They'll probably look slightly similar, but they're all going to be different in their own aspects. But obviously the similarities between them make sense because of what they're based off of. So maybe one of them, the spear guy, Actually, out of the new, like I said, the new people, out of the new people, if there's one of them that survives and keeps going, I want that weird tusk nail person. I want her to keep going because I like her design, and I want to see more of what she can do, because out of all of them, she is probably the least displayed right now, because we saw the flamethrower guy, we saw the spear dude. I assume the sword devil guy can do about the same as the katana. And then we've obviously already seen what Kianchi Reze can do. I mean, that's obvious. But this nail, kind of like nail hybrid, like only has gone up and slashed Denji like with a claw swipe. I want to see like, what is their OP ability? Can they do anything crazy? Is it like they can just keep extending their, like maybe she can keep extending her claws where they'll just become massive and like growing them uncontrollably, but the force behind them will kind of carry over. It's like, oh, that now it grows wider, larger, kind of just bigger attacks, whereas like, oh, grows in length, it has way more general range, and she, she could slash you from like 50 feet away or something. There's definitely more that can come out of it. Like I said, imagine if it's like she slashed you and then a bunch of the nails broke off and they continuously kept growing and you have to remove them from your body in order to get them to stop causing you damage. Something like that. But anyway, other than that though, comment below, tell me your thoughts about this chapter. I'm going to reread it, honestly, probably another 2 to 3 times before the next chapter comes out, just because it was badass and it's just so fun to see relentless destruction like this, just to see when a character is unhinged. We don't have to have like a lot of dialogue, we can just see badass action, and I think that's what people want when you have situations like this. But anyway, other than that though, comment below, thumbs up the video, from the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. Other than that, I appreciate everybody's already subscribed. Thank you all for listening. Bye.